Welcome back to Mobility at Work. This podcast is sponsored by Esper. Esper offers the most powerful, advanced, and secure device management solutions for Android dedicated devices. Meet us to experience the magic of Esper at the Smart Nation Expo and Forum at stand number P8148. Alright, welcome back to Mobility at Work. It's me again, and we are still with Dr. Wan Fariza here. So in the previous part, we have discussed about the fundamentals of the digital transformations and digital adoptions. Now, I believe that most of us are aware that cybercrime cases continue to dominate our news headlines. Well, this cybercrime is still one of Malaysia's top concerns until now, I can say. So to learn more about this issue, perhaps Dr. Wan Fariza could share more information about the current threat landscape with us.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so the current threat landscape basically it refers to vulnerabilities, malware, and specific group of attackers and their techniques that represents a danger to a particular entity. So this entity can be a sector, can be a country, organization, or individual. So this threat landscape, it is not static, it changes over time, okay, as well as events that have significant impacts on the entity. So the COVID-19 pandemic is one good example. It forced the organization to make major changes in their infrastructure to cater to the work from home. Yeah, but as a result, okay, we see attacks targeting cloud, remote access tools. All right, so these attacks have surfaced on the organization's threat landscape. So understanding the current threat landscape is very important because it allows the entity to identify potential information security vulnerabilities and proactively take preventive measures against these threats. Yeah. Okay, so different entities, they possess different information of value to the attackers. Okay, so one example, in 2017, we had the Equifax data breach. So it is regarded as one of the largest data breach to date. It affected 148 million users, and Equifax is one of US largest consumer credit reporting agencies. So there were like 148 million people's Americans' personal data was compromised, and credit card information of 209,000 customers were exposed. Yeah, and also we have different entities. They have different security levels. Okay, organizations with poor security measures in place are considered as low-hanging fruits by the attackers. Okay, so these organizations are potential targets. Okay, that are easy to hack regardless of the data. It does not have to have valuable data. It's just low security and it's easy to hack. Yeah. So all it takes is a simple scan to discover easy exploit to enter the target system. So there was a study that investigated how long it takes for a cyber criminal to discover vulnerable system. Okay, and it was revealed in that study that the slowest response time was 2 hours and the fastest response time was 42 seconds. So if your organization has a poor security, the attacker or hacker can discover that organization in 42 seconds. Yeah. So that is how fast the attacker works. And this attacker can be anywhere on this earth. All right. And sometimes, okay, we also have entities being hacked or being attacked for political reasons. Okay, so I think recent examples, we have the US and the China trade war. So because of that, you have a lot of emerging Chinese APTs, okay, which is the what they call advanced persistent threats. So these are focus groups, okay, that focuses on targeting countries, okay, or organizations, okay, and they will conduct prolonged and targeted cyber attacks, okay, just to gain access into the target organization, target system, and they will use sophisticated hacking techniques. All right, and another recent war, we have the Russia and Ukraine war. Okay, so before the actual war this year, Russia has actually launched many cyber attacks on Ukraine. Okay, since back in 2014 when they illegally took over Crimea. Okay, and their cyber attack actually affected Ukraine's public, energy, media, financial, business, and non-profit sector. Okay, and since the invasion this year, Russia's cyber attack, they hampered the distribution of medicine, food, and relief supply. Okay, so now let's take a look. What are the latest threats? Okay, what are the latest threat trends? So if we base on Cisco's report, okay, for 2021, the crypto mining, phishing, ransomware, and Trojan are the top 4 threats. Okay, and 69% of the organizations are reported to experience at least one end user instance of unsolicited crypto mining. Okay, and unsolicited crypto mining refers to the unauthorized use of someone else's compute resource, such as desktop server, to mine cryptocurrency. Okay, the other threat, phishing. Yeah, phishing is actually an old technique, but it continues to be popular due to its simplicity and effectiveness. And Cisco recorded 86% of organizations had at least one user try to connect to a phishing site. A phishing site copies content from the actual website that usually have a login page. So these phishing sites, they will look exactly like the actual sites. And attacker basically create this phishing site. They will send it out via email, messaging apps to users. Okay, and when the user click on it and they attempt to log in, the attacker will capture the user's username and password. And from the user's point of view, okay, the user, when they enter their username and password, right, they do not know that their username and password was captured by the attacker. And for them, what happened is like there's just a glitch, like suddenly it's like, hey, what happened? And it just goes back to it just redirects them back to the actual website, and then they re-enter the username and password and they go into the legitimate system. Yeah. So during the pandemic, okay, many attackers actually they mimic the content from CDC, from WHO, from our Ministry of Health. Yeah. Okay, and they set up vaccine signing sites, testing sites. Okay, and they try to get people to click on their phishing website to steal credentials. Okay, and also we have the post-pandemic. Okay, it is not easy to bring in live-in helpers anymore. So the attacker, they understand the current situation, and they jump at the opportunity to scam victims using the maid cleaning services. Okay, and they pair it with phishing together with malware. And with that, they actually managed to empty out the victim's bank account. Okay, so talking about malware. So what is malware? All right, so the other two top threats mentioned by Cisco just now, which is ransomware and Trojan, they both actually fall under the wide umbrella of malware. So malware is referring to the broad term that covers all kinds of malicious software. So other kinds of malicious software include viruses and worms. Okay, so ransomware. So ransomware is actually a malware designed to deny access to computer system until, okay, a sum of money is paid by the victim. Okay, when the computer is infected by ransomware, all the files and the data on the computer, they get encrypted. And to decrypt it, the victim must actually pay, okay, to get the decryption key from the attacker. So CrowdStrike Intelligence, okay, a security company, they observe an 82% increase in ransomware-related data leak from 2020 to 2021. Okay, and around the same time last year, our Malaysian Employers Federation, they suffered a ransomware attack involving its encrypted accounting data, and the server were down for actually 3 days. Okay, they were down for 3 days. Okay, and then later in the same year, okay, we have Exabyte, which is our local web hosting service provider. They also suffered the same fate. Their Windows hosting services were disrupted, and a ransom of 900,000 in cryptocurrency was demanded. Okay. All right. And Trojan, which is the other type of malware, okay, it is also known as Trojan horse. It is a type of malware that appears like a legitimate application, but can take over of the infected computer. So this Trojan, it is designed to damage, disrupt, steal, okay, or generally we can say is designed to inflict some harmful action on the data, computer, or network. So we have some common Trojan, which are the backdoor Trojan. So they just stay hidden in the infected computer, but it has opened up a door. It has opened up access to the attacker to access that computer at any time. All right, and they can use it to steal data. Okay, so Red Sonja is one example of the backdoor Trojan that is what you call circulating now. All right, and then we had one. We had one Trojan, okay, called Emotet. So Emotet actually emerged back in 2014. It was like considered one of the dangerous Trojan at that time. So at some point it disappeared, but now it is back again. Okay, so it started off as a banking Trojan to steal user credentials, okay, so that they can empty out the victim's money bank account. All right, so just last year it started redistributing, and it has become more dangerous. Okay, it's not just a banking Trojan, it has become a malware dropper. So it can drop more malware on the infected computer. Okay, you have a malware to deliver another malware. All right, and then other recent Trojan that is also circulating now is the Your Sniff and Eyes ID. So these two malware, they work together to deliver ransomware. Okay, all right, and this malware, they are actually distributed through a variety of methods. So the initial distribution is actually through phishing. All right, so now it goes back to phishing. All right, so the attacker, they will email, okay, they will message, all right, the victims, okay, and they put in the malware as attachment, okay, or links, okay, it can be attachment, it can be links that will lead you to the malicious files. All right, and this malicious file, they often hide it as an office document, such as fake invoices, delivery notices, okay, okay, it is also observed, all right, they are also delivering all these things in the various language, so not just English, okay, they deliver in English, Spanish, French, Japanese, Malay, okay, so they are targeting, they are very specific now in their target. So according to Fortinet, all right, Malaysia, we recorded 57.8 million malware attacks in the first quarter of 2022, which accounts for 1.14% of the total cyber attack worldwide. Okay, so cyber attacks are actually becoming more common in Malaysia, and attackers are constantly scanning and adapting to the latest technology. So they are actually closely monitoring what is going on, okay, what is going on in the real world that is of interest to us, and then they will use this information in their phishing campaign to get our attention. So I think this is something to worry about.
The Seasons of Mobility at Work podcast is sponsored by Esper. Please stay tuned for more content about managing your business with technologies with us. That's good learning that I have learned for today. So nowadays, organizations that undergo digital transformations implement a wide range of new technological tools and services. So prior to these changes, the typical IT infrastructure was centralized environments with gated perimeters, enterprise-owned endpoints devices, and on-premises data centers that house the majority of the company's data. So today, much of the focus of cybersecurity efforts should be on enterprise endpoints, which are frequently the weak links in cybersecurity programs. So according to the recent research, I also have read that attackers frequently gain access to corporate networks via endpoints such as PCs, smartphones, tablets, and the growing numbers of internet-connected devices. So from here, this is why organizations need to consider strengthening their security transformation strategies.
You're right, Hani. Yeah. So all these endpoints devices do provide attackers additional means, yeah, to gain unauthorized access into a system. Okay. And in today's threat landscape, okay, as we discussed just now, right? They are aimed at endpoints, okay, either to mine cryptocurrency, control them, or to steal information. Okay, and as you mentioned, typical IT infrastructure is centralized environment with gated perimeter, enterprise-owned endpoint devices, on-premises data centers that house the majority of the company's website. So, but nowadays, yeah, with digital transformation, it has shifted. Okay, now we have distributed system, we have third-party services, we have cloud, we have Internet of Things, we have the ever-increasing data. And then we also have the bring your own device trend, okay, where the employees are allowed to use personal devices to connect to organizational network and access work-related systems and data. Okay, so all right, to explain, okay, the current security posture, I would like to use the People, Process, Technology Framework, or simply referred to as the PPT Framework. Okay, so this PPT framework is not a new concept. It was introduced in the 60s for organizations to improve their operational efficiency for employees and tools. Yeah, and then in the 90s, Bruce Shire, yeah, he popularized it in the information security world. So this PPT framework is actually about how the three elements, okay, which is the people, process, and technology, how these three elements interact with one another. Okay, so we have people who are doing the work, we have process that makes the work more efficient, and we have technology that helps people do the task and help automate the process. So it is very important. Okay, so it's very important, and it's all about striking the right balance between the three critical components. Okay, so you have organizations, they can use new technology, fancy tools to solve their problem, but the technology is only as effective as the processes utilizing it and the people who handle it. Okay, so if the organization, they don't implement strong processes, okay, then the action of the people will not be effective. Okay, and they also waste a lot of value delivered by the technology. Okay, or if the people do not know how to use the technology properly, then again the organization won't create value from the investment of technology. So I hope you, I mean, you get the point, right? Okay, so in the context of security, these three components again must be balanced. Okay, otherwise the security risk will increase. So let me share an example, okay, from the financial industry. So we focus on bank. Yeah, so bank are actually an example of high security organization. They have the most advanced firewall. They have intelligent intrusion detection prevention system to detect unauthorized access, extensive security policies, and so on. Yeah, it is not, okay, it's definitely not easy to get past all these security measures, but okay, people still lose money, right? How is that possible? Okay, so attacker, they turn to human. Yeah, they will use social engineering tactics, okay, that focuses on manipulating humans to gain access to bank account. Okay, so most commonly used is phishing. All right, as we explained in depth just now, okay, they use the email, they create an email with relevant content, okay, with a link to the bank's login page, they send it to the victim to obtain the user credentials. Yeah, and then the bank, to overcome this issue, they implemented multi-factor authentication. So on top of your username and password, we users now need to put in additional authentication methods. So they are currently using the one-time PIN, right? So you have the one-time PIN method, so which provides the extra layer of security to verify the user identity. Okay, but still, all right, the attackers still manage to hack. Yeah, they have their workaround solution. Okay, so what they do on top of the phishing link, okay, so if you use back the maid cleaning scam, right, they send the phishing link, all right, fish bank link, and on top of it, they ask their victims to download and install a mobile app. All right, so this mobile app is actually the malware. By installing the mobile app, the scammer could now read the SMS with the OTP. okay, that was sent to the user's mobile phone. And with that, okay, they now have the user credentials, they have the OTP, and they clean out the victim's bank account. Okay, so what I want to highlight is that most of the security measures put in place by the bank are on the process and technology component, okay, and less focus on the people. Okay, so prior to digital transformation, it suffices, it's enough, all right? But with this ongoing transformation, okay, security becomes more complex, okay, and organization can no longer afford to overlook the people component, okay? All right, you pointed out earlier that the attackers commonly gain access via endpoints, yeah? So human are responsible for this, okay? Attackers, they can send malware, which would not have infected our devices if we did not click and install the malware on our devices. Okay, our data would not have been used if we did not agree blindly to all terms and conditions when signing up for some services online. Okay, and we would not have been tracked by attackers if we had been more selective in accepting cookies, all right, giving access to third-party services and so on. Okay. So yeah, human are responsible for partly responsible, yeah. Okay, and also with the BYOD trend, okay, employees' personal device pose additional security challenges to organization. Okay, so when they connect to the organization's network, they are part of the organization's system already. Okay, and their personal device may have a very low security and can be exploited by attackers to gain access and compromise organizations' system network data. Okay, so that's why organization, they must properly develop a clear BYOD security policy to inform and educate employees on how to employ BYOD without compromising organization systems, network and data. All right, and actually it's only in the recent years we can see more effort being made to increase employee security awareness. Okay, and only a minority organizations that extend this effort to customers. Okay, so it's important that everyone in the organization's value network gets educated on security. So not just employees, we also have the customers, we have suppliers, vendors. Okay. All right, and in UKM, okay, we have actually carried out some phishing simulation exercise to educate staff on phishing and also to investigate correlation between successful phishing attempt and the staff background, as in IT and non-IT background. So while there is a negative correlation, okay, there is a chance of successful phishing attempt the chance of successful phishing attempt is actually less if the staff is from IT background. Okay, but okay, even though the statistics show us that there is still cases where staff with IT background still click on the phishing link. Okay, so and again, even though the simulation was carried out more than once, yeah, they were still successful phishing attempts. Okay, so it shows that we must have this kind of awareness and campaign regularly. Okay.
The Seasons of Mobility at Work podcast is sponsored by Esper. Please stay tuned for more content about managing your business with technologies with us. Right. Great. There's a good learning about it today. To digitally transform their business operations without introducing new security risks, I think organization must include security from the start, focusing on data vulnerability. So how can they actually ensure that strong security throughout a transformations initiative? I mean, and what about the practical security measures that we can take today to tighten up our data security?
Okay, all right. So once an organization decides to take up digital transformation, okay, security must be considered from the start. Yeah. So security best practice must be applied at every levels, endpoint device, network, system, and data. Okay, so for example, they must ensure the device firmware and software are updated regularly, avoid using the default admin password, create strong password that is long, at least more than 8 characters, include upper, lowercase, numbers, special characters. Okay, and at the network level, okay, they must close all unused ports. They must ensure all data and communication are encrypted. Okay, ensure all existing security features that comes with the hardware and software are fully utilized. All right, and as people, okay, the people component, their most overlooked component and has become the biggest security risk. Organizations must organize regular and relevant security awareness and training program for everyone in the organization's value chain, such as employees, customers, suppliers, as each person in the chain represents at least one endpoint. So we believe in educating people so that they can identify red flags and be smarter about the current threat landscape and not fall victims to cyber crimes and cyber attacks. Okay, security policies must also be developed, okay, taking into consideration the organization rules and policies and also zero trust model. So zero trust model is generally to distrust every entity, as in disallow all, okay, allow only when requested and verified. So if BYOD is allowed, then special policies must be made and enforced to ensure the employees' personal device do not compromise the organization. Policy enforcement should be automatic where possible. If enforced manually, again, okay, this policy must be included in the security awareness and training programs to be made known to all parties on a regular basis. All right. And we can also do some technological strategies, yeah, to lessen the risk posed by people component. Okay, organizations, they can strengthen their security infrastructure by implementing a strong, reliable endpoint security solution. So this will ensure the endpoint can detect and prevent malware from infecting the other devices. All right, and organizations can also implement secure email gateway and email security solutions. So this can filter email communication to prevent phishing threats and attach Trojan from reaching the users. Okay, another option is the organization can implement web filtering solutions to block users from visiting dangerous websites. All right, and one important thing is the maintenance process that must not be skipped. Yeah, okay. One important maintenance process that must not be skipped is the backup process. So backup must be done regularly and to multiple locations. Okay, on-premise, cloud. Okay, in any case of ransomware, at least the data can be recovered without paying the amount demanded. Okay, and cyber attacks. Cyber attacks, they are constantly evolving and they are becoming more and more sophisticated. So organizations must keep up to maintain a robust and secure infrastructure in order to confidently pursue growth in the digital age.
That's great insights. Wow, I learned a lot of today. So yeah, thank you very much, Fariza, for taking your time to discuss this with us. That was an absolutely wonderful sharing that I had for today, and it was truly a great honor to have you in our podcast as well. So yeah, looking forward to working with you again in the future. So how does it sound?
Yeah, yes, that's great.
That's great. All right. I think this is the end of part 2. Thank you so much, Fariza, for your sharing with us for today. We at Syndes are going to host plenty of podcast sessions with a few more guest speakers in the coming days. So if you are curious about who will be speaking with me next, please stay tuned and keep an eye out of the upcoming episodes. We have many more interesting and beneficial topics to share with you. Do check out our website syndes.biz and follow us on our social media as well for more content about managing your business with technologies. I am Hani and thank you for listening to Mobility at Work. Stay tuned for the next episode. Goodbye for now.